There is a moment that repeats itself in courthouse, hallways, and suburban driveways across the country. A moment that has nothing to do with love and everything to do with ownership. It happens the instant a piece of paper is signed, the instant a lock is changed, the instant a woman says the word no and means it for the first time in years. It is the moment a controlling man understands, on some level beneath language, that the person he believed belonged to him has stopped believing it herself. Most people call what follows a crime of passion. The phrase is comforting because it suggests spontaneity, an eruption a man pushed past some human limit. By grief he could not contain. It suggests the violence was, in some tragic sense, an accident of the heart. The clinical record tells a different story. What follows a separation is rarely an eruption. It is in case after case, a campaign plotted, resourced, and executed with the same cold precision. A man might once have brought to closing a business deal or trying a case before a jury. The tragedy is not that these men lost control. The tragedy is that losing control was never really the danger. The danger was what they did to regain it. We have spent a great deal of time on this channel, inside a single house on Marina Drive in San Diego, inside the marriage of Dan and Betty Broderick, inside a divorce so vicious it became a made-for-television spectacle, and eventually a homicide. We have told that story from more than one angle now. The fingerprint evidence, the competing psychiatric testimony, the children who were asked in open court what they could prove rather than what they felt. Each time we treated the Broderick case as its own self-contained tragedy, a collision of two damaged people who happened catastrophically to marry each other. Tonight we are going to argue that this framing, while true, is also too small. Dan Broderick was not an aberration. He was a case study, one especially well-documented example of a psychological pattern that recurs with eerie consistency in courtrooms and coroner's reports from every state in the country. Strip away the specific names, the specific zip codes, the specific professions, and what remains is a blueprint, a particular species of man wired for entitlement, who experiences the loss of a marriage, not as heartbreak, but as theft, not as sorrow, but as insult, and who responds to that insult the way entitled people have always responded to being told no, by attempting, through whatever means are available to him, to take back what he has decided is rightfully his. This is not a story about anger. Anger burns hot, and then it passes. This is a story about entitlement, which does not pass. Because entitlement is not an emotion. It is a belief system. It is the quiet, load-bearing conviction that one's own needs, one's own comfort, one's own narrative of the marriage simply outrank everyone else's. For years, that belief system can hide behind charm, competence, and generosity. Because when a man who believes the world owes him deference is also getting that deference, he can be genuinely, effortlessly pleasant to be around. The mask only slips when the deference stops, and nothing stops deference faster or more completely than a wife who files for divorce. Researchers who study lethal violence between intimate partners have a term for the period immediately surrounding a separation. They call it separation assault, a phrase coined by the legal scholar Martha Mahoney to describe the specific, predictable spike in danger that occurs not during the marriage, but at the exact moment the marriage ends. The data behind that term is sobering. Women are statistically at their highest risk of being killed by a partner, not while they are living with him, but after they have left him or in the act of trying to. Police departments, family court judges, and domestic violence advocates have known this for decades. It is why so many protective order hearings ask, almost ritually, whether the petitioner believes her safety is at greater risk now that she has filed the honest answer.